So the identity of the mystery star within the final world is a big question mark left by the story of Kingdom Hearts 3. Though we don't know who the star is, I have a lot of information to compile about the many identities or potential identities of this individual. So today we're going to be doing a full breakdown of her words and trying to connect the dots to see if we can pinpoint exactly which character she is before it's officially revealed, as we do have Kingdom Hearts Union Cross that may wind up giving us the answers sometime in the future. So, to start us off, let's outline all of her important lines that may hint at her identity and potentially how she died as well. After being queried about who she is, she responds she's the heart of nobody. Her name was taken away, and everything else about her as well. So, with emphasis on they, we can concur this individual perished by the actions of a couple or a few people. With the idea of her name being taken, I like to believe this line is hint of the star being none other than Subject X. Adding context to her situation within the secret reports, of course, Subject X claims she has no memory or recollection of who she is. There are men who come to ask her questions about her identity and where it is that she came from. And due to her lack of memory, they dub her Subject X. At the beginning of Secret Report 1, Subject X asks, "Where is she?" By the end of her reports, she recalls that a man with an eye patch took her away. This man obviously being Lushu. So could she have potentially been killed by, of course, Lushu and was sent here to the final world? It does seem like there is some kind of connection here, as of course she does mention that some group of people took her whole name away. Now we know that the foretellers have been asleep going off the words of Lushu since, of course, the Keyblade War. So this would mean that they couldn't be the individuals to take out, of course, Subject X or take out this character or take away this character's name. Who knows exactly what the hell is going on with all of this? But of course, she does mention that they, meaning a group of individuals, took her name away. Also, it was a somebody that took her life, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Next, she claims that her heart pines for another, but he's been changed. His heart has been replaced by another's. This sounds like Zigbar or Marluxia, so let's see which two characters probably fits this mode a little bit more. She claims that this person will be distressed by her absence should they regain their old selves. So let's have a look. In the skin of Severance, after being defeated, Marluxia starts to feel his heart again. He is starting to remember his true identity, so maybe this is hints of Laurium's memories flooding back in. After he had been petrified by Sora, while Lushu, on the other hand, doesn't seem to really, of course, be worried about anyone after he's defeated, but he's more so worried about, obviously, pretending like he died, and of course, obviously, after we get the epilogue, we get to see Lushu return, and he does mention Master Alva. He does seem a little bit worried that Alva didn't come back, although he does remark that she had her own mission, and of course, with her own mission, she went ahead and fulfilled that rather than, of course, appearing with the rest of the foretellers. And I know I've said, of course, many times, but let's go ahead and move on. And that wraps up all of our clues, sadly. So there was only two clues that as to who she is. She says somebody, her heart pines for another, and they would be distressed. Well, actually, there's like three. They would be distressed if they found out about her. And then she also remarks that, of course, they took her name away. So there's a few individuals. So this makes me believe that it could be Subject X, although we know that Subject X does remark about the four Keyblade wielders and the Keyblade, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So, with that wrapping up, of course, what we know from her lines, this heart being in the final world, we must question why this person died instead of being reverted to a nobody or a heartless. We learned from Charity that the heart and body must perish together to get to the final world, meaning no nobody or heartless is produced after the individual has fallen. This does fit what we saw happen to Strelitzia, who faded away after being struck down. This sounds like the situation of Strelitzia, who perished after seemingly being killed by Brain, who has her book of prophecies and fits the mode of being a somebody that did what happened to her. So, of course, she also remarks about somebody. It was somebody that did this to her. So, of course, it wasn't a nobody. It wasn't a heartless, nor was it like, a nobody. It was somebody. So, if she says it's somebody, then I'm guessing that this individual is going to be revealed in due time, with it more than likely being Brain, as he does have his hands on Strelitzia's Book of Prophecies, and Strelitzia is the big mystery death within Kingdom Hearts Union Cross right now. However, 2 years ago, Nomura released this artwork of the five Union leaders and a mysterious sixth cloak individual, who stands opposite to Marluxia holding a chlorud. This is a hard name. Chlorudendrum Sonai. I don't know how to say that. I'll probably have Google do it, but more than likely, I always forget to do these kind of things when I'm editing, which may be representative of fate, destiny, or bleeding heart. So that's the many different meanings of course, the flower that this individual is holding within the artwork that Nomura gave for the second year anniversary. In Kingdom Hearts 3's last three secret reports, we learned that Luxu will be watching over the events of Union Cross, or he is watching over the events of Union Cross, till he passes the no name to one of the new Union leaders. All this information brings me to the conclusion of three individuals, obviously: Alva, Scold, or Strelitzia, with Strelitzia being my personal pick. Subject X comes from the age of fairy tales and is saved by Luxu. If this individual was her, then why kill her but leave three other dandelions alive that he obviously knows about? She also mentions four friends and a Keyblade. Could this Keyblade be no name? After passing it, could they have connected the dots and figured out the Keyblade and the Book of Prophecies are linked somehow? Well, Luxu also explains that though the dandelions escaped the world line created by the Master of Masters, they did so at a cost. So Subject X seems likely to be Scold. With Alva, I think a lot of people don't realize that Luxu would know where Alva is if he did in fact save Subject X, who is also, of course, a character within the final world, who then also, of course, is the character that is the character that's waiting to be saved within the final world. I think it would make sense that Luxu would know who this character is. Also, the idea of the name being taken away, Master Alva not having the ability to, of course, get out of the final world, but Sora does. I just don't think that that works. It doesn't work because of how things work with the foretellers already. So we know that every other Keyblade wielder that participated within the Keyblade War is potentially dead. Meanwhile, the foretellers didn't die. They were only put to sleep after the world fell. So if they were put to sleep with the destruction of the entire world, the entirety of the world, then I can't believe, like, you can't get me to believe that the star is also Master Ava when she was a part of said war. It makes more sense that she went to sleep as well, and now that Luxu has awakened them again and summoned them, of course, she went off to do her own thing, or potentially she didn't go to sleep at all and she's been off doing her own thing for a long time, which would explain where Scarlet Akylum comes from. And obviously, there's the whole Ericus lineage thing to where he's one of the foretellers' descendants, meaning that one of them had to have given birth to a child that eventually led up to the whole lineage of Master Ericus. With Ava still being one of those potential possibilities, I can't see it being that, of course, she's here in the final world. And then, of course, Subject X was saved by Luxu as well. And then, obviously, they still wound up getting into the final world. I just can't see it. But whoever this star is, it does seem to be that this character is also Subject X. So when it mentions four friends and a Keyblade, it could be remarking towards four friends and her very own Keyblade, four friends and no name, or four friends and they're taking Keyblade, but it really is the X Blade. Although that's highly unlikely, the third one. So when we talk about this, I think one thing we always have to keep in mind is that if Sora could get out of the final world, it's highly likely that Master Ava could as well. Especially due to the fact that the other foretellers, after the world was destroyed and every other Keyblade wielder had seemingly died except for the Dandelions, it doesn't make sense that she could also just be killed off in any kind of way. I mean, there was also the self-doubt thing going on due to Luxu revealing the true plans or the true motives behind the Master of Masters' actions and giving them these roles and stuff. There's that too, so maybe she got corrupted a little bit and she perished due to that, but I don't see it. Plus, they mentioned that their name was taken away. So, with that being said, Master Alva just doesn't fit for me. Also, a lot of people have stated that their voices sound very similar, and I have to agree, but I think that that's just a trick. I think that they're trying to play people with that detail, because if you listen to it side by side, or if I really give you a comparison right now, their voices aren't exactly the same. They don't sound exactly close. But when it comes to the final pick, which is Strelitzia, we know that Strelitzia was already killed off in the world line created by the Master of Masters. We don't know what death in the world line means for the character themselves. Maybe death within the world line could just be, of course, losing your body in the world line, or losing yourself in the world line that was created by the Master of Masters, which seems to be digital or crafted by the Book of Prophecies, but you wind up back in the original world line, which is the world that was created after the fall of Kingdom Hearts due to the Keyblade War, and then of course the resurrection of the world by the light within children's hearts. If that's the case, then of course this world line and the death of Strelitzia could just be the first death that brings Strelitzia into the main story. So the cost that Luxu speaks of to get out of the world line could be having to perish within said world line and kind of go through death and then be resurrected into the new world that was created after the Keyblade War. So my personal pick is still Strelitzia. You may disagree. You may have your own reasons for disagreeing. You may have your own, of course, things that you want to point out. And that's always why I leave these things to the discussion side of things, because I never want to try and make it seem like my speculation or my discussion or my point of view is the facts of the matter. I'm just laying out all of the information that I think we have thus far, and then of course going off of my own conjectures about the information. But I gave you guys all of the information here, so remember, she is still here in the final world because her heart pines for another. The person that she's waiting for would be distressed if they were to regain their old selves. The reason why they need to regain their old selves is because their heart has been corrupted by another individual's, and then of course also her name was taken away, and also everything else about her as well by a few individuals, as she claims they instead of he or she. So she states they, meaning that her name and everything else about her was taken away by a few individuals. Now, obviously, Subject X doesn't have any recollection of who she is, so with that being said, there's a tie-in there, and that makes me believe that Subject X is in fact possibly Strelitzia. Either she's Strelitzia or she's Scold. The whole thing that throws me off about Subject X, though, is the mention of 4 friends and a Keyblade. Because we learned from Luxu within the final 3 secret reports that he does bequeath no name to one of these Union leaders. That would make more sense that she would be bringing up a Keyblade, as of course these 4 individuals may find out something about that Keyblade, and that may lead to them getting out of the world line later on, and that may be why Subject X speaks of it. However, when it comes to Strelitzia, we know that she was completely killed off. Nobody, as far as we know right now, the mystery hooded character from the artwork could be Strelitzia's nobody, but as of right now, we know that there is no nobody. No Heartless has been generated. So with her being killed off, and seemingly by Brain, it seems like we're going to be going into a future in which, of course, Kingdom Hearts will start to deal more with the final world, and characters who have been there, and saving those characters within the final world as well. So let me know what you guys think. This has been your boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-Class gaming and everything you do. Don't forget to keep it A-Class. I hope you guys enjoyed this long discussion video about who the mystery star is and their identity. Don't forget to share your thoughts and why you think the way you do, if you believe it could be Scold or Master Ava, which are the 2 that I've been hearing about, especially due to the fact that Master Ava didn't come back with the rest of the foretellers. Although when I did my epilogue explain video, I talked about how the potential possibility for that most likely is that she simply just doesn't follow the Master of Masters anymore. So why would she come when Luxu calls on her, when he told her the truth about the Master of Masters' motivations? So let me know what you guys think. This has been your boy, and peace the heck out. What's left of me? What's left of me? And you and I.